This is, I think, possibly the third year we've done it. I think each year we've done it, it gets better and better. Let me tell you, first of all, why you're here, if you haven't figured it out. In the past, you set your schedule using this book, or something that looked like this. You picked up a form. Mr. Morris explained to you a little bit about what's expected, what happens in 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. And then you sat next to a friend or a couple of friends and you said, what are you taking? What about that? Well, what about Mr. Steiger? What about that math class? What about that gym class or weightlifting or whatever? And that's how you set your schedule. Now, your schedule basically is your path to the future. Whether you're a college student, whether you want to go to the career center, you want to be a welder, you want to be a veterinarian, whatever it is, this book, the course offerings and the classes that your teachers teach are your pathway not only to graduation, but to your future. In the past, just taking a book and looking through it and listening to maybe a friend that was a junior or a senior and they said, oh yeah, take Mr. Sample's class, it's really good, or whatever. Now we're going to have a little introduction. The teachers are going to explain a little bit about your class. This year, thanks to Mr. Cumston, where's Mr. Cumston at? Mr. Cumston and some of his students made some commercials, so let's give those guys a nice round of applause. Again, the purpose is to give you a better idea and a better understanding of what is going on in this building in classrooms that you may not see. Okay? So that's what we're here. Guys, last night, tough game. Let's give the guys a nice round of applause for a good ball game last night. Ladies, we will see you tonight in Erie, my favorite place to go to. But having said that, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Snyder. What do you want to add?
Well, first of all, good morning, Lakeview. You can do better than that. Good morning, Lakeview. How about a yeehaw for all the Westerners out there? All right, I am excited about this assembly because needs your attention though. Being the academic principal, this is a big part of my job. Getting the schedule ready and making sure that the courses are all aligned and ready to go. It's a big thing for me. I really want this to be an important assembly for you. It's kind of long. We're going to have a stretch break in the middle. We'll try to break it up a little bit. It's a little long, but it's important. And so I'm going to ask you that you really pay attention and you really be thinking about not only what you're going to be taking next year, what you think you might want to take next year, but your future plans, your career. Where are you going to head in your life? And if you are an 8th grader going into 9th grade, maybe you have no idea. But just maybe some of what you're going to see today is going to pique your interest and start moving you in one of those directions. So before we get started, I just want to say that we have added several new CHS, which is college and high school, and AP courses over the past few years and even more this year. We are adding CHS Human Anatomy, which you're going to hear more about. We already have a Human Anatomy class. We're going to allow you to get college credit for the work you're already doing, which is really exciting. AP Literature and Composition is going to be combined with Honors 11. Again, you'll hear more about that. But again, AP courses are advanced placement. It gives you a chance to earn college credit for a course that you can take right here in the high school. AP Language and Composition is an elective. It's beyond the existing classes that we already have. AP Spanish 4. Spanish 4 was already offered to you. Now you can get college credit for that. College and high school French 4, same thing. College and high school pre-calculus. College and high school American politics was here 2 years ago. We're bringing it back this year. And then of course we have our existing college and high school courses, chemistry, statistics, psychology, and advanced biology. I think I got them all. But that is a lot of opportunity that you have. If you are thinking about going to college, if you intend to be a college student someday, you really need to consider taking as many of these college courses as you can. Because the more you can take here in school, the cheaper that your college payments are going to be. It's important, and we have it available, and you can do it. If you're a hard worker, you don't have to have all A's. You don't have to be a gifted student. If you are a worker and you're able to work hard and put some time into these classes, you can do this, and you can earn that credit. So that's something, as you're listening to the presentations, really tune into that and be thinking. We are going, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, the minimum, the least amount of credits that you'll schedule is 7. So keep that number in mind as we go through this.
All right. We are going to start with our English department, and I'm going to hand it over to Mrs. Pattison, who's going to introduce the department. Good morning, you guys. How are you? So, as Mrs. Snyder said, I'm Mrs. Pattison, for those of you who don't know, and I'm going to introduce the English department to you today. Since we're all well aware that you got to take 4 years of it, you might as well make the most of it and push yourself sort of outside of your comfort zone. There are a few significant changes that I'm going to highlight, and then the other English teachers are going to further expound on that. AP courses have been added to provide the opportunity for students to earn college credit, like Mrs. Snyder said. That's huge for you guys. I would take advantage if I were you. Honors 11 is now officially AP Lit. AP Language and Composition has also been added as an elective, and it's available to 11th and 12th graders. Keep in mind, that does not replace Honors 12, which is still available to seniors. And then finally, creative writing is being replaced by literature through film as an elective, and again, available to 11th and 12th grade students. I would just ask that you guys please challenge yourself, step outside of your comfort zones, and take as many English classes and electives that you can to prepare yourself for life outside of high school. I hate to say the real world because I hate that term, but prepare yourselves to become productive, well-rounded, intelligent adults. Yes? Okay, with no further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Mrs. Husband.
Good morning. I'm Mrs. Husband, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Honors 9 and Honors 10, and I teach Honors 9. Mrs. Kaltenbaugh teaches Honors 10, so I'm representing both of those courses, and I'm really excited that Lakeview offers those because it gives you a great opportunity to challenge yourself and go forward and prepare for more challenging courses in 11th and 12th grade. And without me telling you what I think about the courses, I asked my students what they think about the Honors 9 and Honors 10, and these are some of the things that they said. They said that they're fun, interactive learning opportunities. They enjoy getting a grade that is weighted because that does go towards your overall GPA, that they read more. They said it's a lot of fun. And you get challenged and opportunities for activities. And we do some fun projects that are enjoyable. And then taking an honors class isn't as bad as it sounds. It's actually very organized and gives you structure. Some of the things that I'd like to add is that for the honors courses, we read the whole entire texts and we delve into them a little bit deeper. We do analysis and we just really try to apply them in fun, creative ways. So I hope you consider taking those. Thank you.
Hello. Hello, good morning. I'm Mr. Minch, in case you didn't know. I'm 8th graders, 9th graders, if you don't know who I am. I teach 11th grade English, which pretty much you will all take, unless you're on the honors track. I also do the newspaper, and I wanted to show you this video that Mr. Cumpson's class made. So in journalism here at Lakeview, students produce the Lakeviewer, which is the school newspaper. We put out several times a year, and, including not just our in-house publication, but we also do an out-house publication now, which is printed on newsprint, and we put the paper out in the community, in different gas stations and places like that, so that a wide variety of people in the community can see what's going on in school. Not only that, it's really cool because you get your byline out in the community, and it's completely student-produced publication. People like Natalie Ray make the newspaper, as well as all the other students.
You should take this class because it's cool to see yourself featured on an actual newspaper, and it's fun to run the Twitter page.
As Michelle mentioned there at the end, we are a full-blown multimedia production at this point, thanks to Mr. Cumpston, as well as a very talented staff. Not only do we run a Twitter page, at @LLakeviewer on Twitter, please follow us. Sometimes Mr. Cumpston will give you candy bars. But we also have a video magazine. If you guys have watched that, we're putting out 4 times a year, as well as the Sailor Scoop. If you use the restroom here, you will see these guys. I'm sure you have. Additionally, we alluded to our publication that goes outside of Lakeview in the video there. And that looks like this, which is very much like an actual newspaper. And like I said, it goes out to the community, people outside of Lakeview, outside of these doors see it, and I think that's really a neat thing. So consider taking Lakeview. The second thing I want to talk about is the 11th and 12th grade elective that has been added in our department, and that is AP language and composition, which sounds a lot like a writing class. It is, but it's also a reading class. So if you're sort of sitting here going, well, I don't really want to do a lot of writing, don't panic. There's a lot of reading as well. So it is a traditional English class. What it does is it prepares you for freshman English in college. So if you're thinking about going to college, definitely get you ready for that. That being said, at the end of the school year, if you decide to take the AP language and composition test and you score a 3 or higher out of 5, 3, 4, or 5 out of 5, you will likely get college credit at most schools, and you wouldn't have to take your freshman English class in college, which is kind of a nice little program. So contemplate taking that. Like I said, it is an elective, and if you're willing to work hard, I think you'll do a fantastic job. On to Mrs. Matthews.
Okay, so today I'm going to tell you a little story. It's about a Greek myth. However, I'm not going to tell you actually who it's about. I'm going to change the names, and I want you to see if you can guess it before I'm done. Go ahead and shout it out. I don't really care if you know. Teddy was the son of August, or, well, Peter. Quite frankly, he didn't know. His mother raised him away from where he was born. Once he became old enough, he set out on an adventure to find out who he really was. Lost my place. He met and overcame a gigantic lumberjack and a tailor that manipulated our bodies instead of the clothes. Once he arrives to his father's city, Teddy narrowly escapes being killed by his father's girlfriend before actually being recognized as his father's son. Not being able to stay in one location for long, Teddy travels again to battle a famous villain. He falls in love with a city council member's daughter, slays the villain, and runs away with his new love interest. Because Teddy was a self-concerned adolescent, he gave no thought to calling home and telling his father that he survived all of the dangers of his journey. Thus, August thrust himself from a cliff. To find out who this story is actually about, because all of the guesses I've heard were wrong, sign up for Greek mythology. No. All right, and then the second elective that I actually teach is literature through film. It is new, being offered first next year. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, have you ever read a book or watched a movie? Let's face it, watched the movie and told your teacher you read the book? Most of you. Well, take literature through film and find comfort in the fact that now you won't have to lie to me about reading the book. Good? Okay. Oh, sorry, I was rude. Next is Mrs. Vaughn.
Good morning. I'm Mrs. Vaughn, for those of you that don't know. I'm going to be, you like my pictures? I'm going to be talking about 2 courses. One of the courses is going to be the theater arts elective, and then the other course, Mr. Minch kind of talked most about. We have the AP literature that's going to be offered for 11th grade, and then he talked briefly about the AP line. So I guess we'll start with the theater arts first. So there is a commercial, if you want to go to the next slide. I know, I don't like this.
Oh my God. Why should kids take theater? Well, it's fun. It's a class that to me, I think, you kind of get to forget about everything else. There's not a lot of pressure on there. You get to be different people out of your shell. You get to hang around people maybe that you normally hang around with. I like it, so I think you should like it too.
I like it too.
Yeah, Devin likes it too.
So yeah, that was theater. Thanks, Devin McIntyre, for that. Theater is fun. It does get you out of your comfort zone. We do so many different things. One of those that we like to do is we like to plug our musical that starts tomorrow, opening night. So just so you know, tomorrow night is opening night. But it is something that if you're like, I can't get up on the stage, I can't do this, I can't perform in front of people, it's more than that. So I really do highly suggest you, try something different. And the other class that I'm going to talk about is the AP Lit. So I'm also the Honors English 11 teacher, which is now going to be AP Literature. And just as Mr. Mitch had said, this is a course that's designed that they have the AP exam at the end where you can get college credits. AP Lit is also composition, so they're kind of the same. Like, you're still going to be reading, you're going to be reading critically, you're going to be doing a lot of different things with fiction and nonfiction, and it's basically just really going to help deepen your understanding of the works, help you become a better writer, and as Mrs. Snyder said, it's really going to help with getting those college credits. So if you have any questions, just come see me. Thanks. Yay. Next up, we have Mr. Mendy.
Good morning. How many of you purchased a 2019 edition of the log? Quite a few of you? Okay. We're going to reveal what the cover is going to look like for 2019 here in just a second. It is a totally student design cover, and the English department did a really good job of doing figurative language because there's some symbolism in it as well. So if we could have the cover please now. The tide rolls on. There's a bottle. 2019, you can see it's supposed to be a diploma list inside the bottle, and on the back cover, which is on your left, the bottle is empty because the foot tracks represent people going off into their lives.
Okay, don't say all again, please.
One of the very nice new traditions we have here is Dr. Hoag's Alumni Hall of Fame, which I think will be the next time we'll be gathered in this room together. And at that time, Dr. Hoag will probably use yearbook senior photos to introduce this year's inductees. The yearbook is an important publication that grows in value over time. When you get it this spring, you'll like it, you'll open it up, you'll probably get signatures. But as you get older, that book will become more valuable. A yearbook is forever. If you desire to be part of something that is historically important to the school and our community, and if you have the drive to be creative, and if you want to work on something that will record the people and events of the school year for future generations, then photojournalism is for you. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our English department. We're moving on to social studies at this time. So I'll have Mr. Gadsby come up.
Good morning. So the social studies basically studies human beings, and since all of us are human beings, last time I checked, that should be interesting to you, because we all do weird things as human beings, and social studies kind of examines why people do what they do. So that should be something that interests you. Basically, you have to take U.S. History 1, U.S. History 2, world cultures, and economics. As a senior, if you want to, instead of taking the college prep economics, you can take manufacturing enterprises, which is a full year course. It's a little bit more hands-on. Mr. Freiters and myself teach it together. And he's going to go into more detail on that. But basically the short version is it's more hands-on, and you're going to be more creative in making things to sell and for charities and things like that. So that's kind of the overview. Mr. Persh now is going to go over the electives of Civil War and World War II.
Roll the tape.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, guys. Today, we're going to be learning about World War II.
Mr. McIntyre, why do you love World War II?
Well, first off, Mr. Purse teaches it. That's reason alone to take the class. And also, if you're into world history, it's a good class.
All categories.
Luke, what's your favorite part of World War II? My favorite part of World War II is learning about world history. Mr. Purse, why should kids take World War II?
I think you should take World War II because I think you'll get a lot out of it. I think we'll have some fun. I think you'll learn something about the Second Great War.
He's going to say that I am not right in the head, basically pleading insanity. Therefore, I cannot be put on trial and held responsible for all my actions during the Holocaust. It's complete BS. Yeah, so you don't need to plead insanity to take World War II. If you like wars, and this kind of goes for both the Civil War and World War II, you're going to like the class. I will say this, we're doing the Civil War right now. Everybody knows Gettysburg, everybody knows Bull Run, everybody knows Antietam. There were a lot of other battles that went into the war that nobody has ever heard of before. So in the Civil War, we're going to study that in a lot more detail. You'll get to know the generals in a lot more detail. Grant, Lee, you know those names. But there were other guys and women that also contributed to the Civil War. So I will say, again, you got to like the wars. You got to like learning about history. But if you do, I think you'll enjoy the class. So sign up. Thank you. Mr. Zasper.
Greetings. Enjoy. Absolutely. History through film is a course in which students use films as historical documents or resources. So students are going to be expected to actively engage. I think students coming in, I think they really need to have the expectation that they are going to not just watch these films, but also they are going to really have to dive into what is going on within the film. And we will also have, The Patriot, we will have Valkyrie, we will have 12 Years a Slave, Apollo 13. I'm also looking into some other films such as Lincoln, which is a newer film, 2013, and then some other films as well, such as Miracle. And as far as any other films, they will be reviewed, and if I find them credible, then they will be installed into the course.
All right, so how many of you like watching movies? Raise your hand. How many of you like writing? Raise your hand. All right, so first off, I'm going to get to that real quick here. History through film is a good class because if you like watching movies, then you're really going to enjoy what we do in this class, which is, reviewing the elements of film, but also looking at the historical accuracy of films like the ones that you heard in that short video. So The Patriot, Apollo 13, we just watched Braveheart, Gladiator. So looking at those films that we all kind of know and love and reviewing them to see how accurate they are, as well as looking at other elements of film. It's a really good class. The only thing is, I will encourage you to take it, but you must enjoy writing. So I see a lot of you shaking your head saying no. Yes is what you should be doing. All right, so make sure that whenever you do sign up for this class, that you are willing to write essays, you're willing to write summaries, you're willing to write plot analysis, because that is a huge part of the course. But the good news is, when we're not writing, we're watching movies. So if you do like movies, this will be a solid class for you. This one is law, so if you are interested at all in the American legal system, how many of you watch Judge Judy at all? Any Judge Judy fans out there? All right, rock on. Nice, I see my man out there, well done. Yeah, so the American legal system is something that everyone in here should have a solid knowledge about. So we're looking into constitutional law, we're looking into criminal law, we're looking into civil law, and not just that, but also defining what crimes are and what sentences come with those laws. And basically, you know, whenever you look at this course, it's very practical, because these are things, all types of laws, rules that we as a society live our lives by. So if this interests you at all, okay, if you ever turn on the TV and you know, you're watching 2020, you're watching 60 Minutes, or you're watching, you know, any of those serial killer videos out there now. Yeah, the Ted Bundy movie on Netflix, that looks pretty good. So if any of that stuff interests you, this is a great class for you, because you really get to dive into this material. The last class I'm going to talk about is the American Political Process class. This class will be available for you to take next year. I actually just got approved for this like last week, so that's good news. It is a CHS course, and it is college credit, so I really encourage you to take this, because it does prepare you for your workload after high school. So those of you that are pursuing a college degree or even going out into the workforce, all right, this class will benefit you. So those of you that are interested in the political realm of the United States, okay, you're interested in how the three branches work, okay, what their jobs are, why we have political parties, okay, any of this that interests you at all, any of you that watch the news and the media's role in politics, this would be a great class for you. So this is a class that's sponsored by Pitt, and it is something that's going to be very intensive as far as engaging you in actually what politics is. All right, so it's much more about you gaining practical knowledge of how our government works today. So take this class, all right? Rock on. And I think Mr. Gadsby is going to come back up here and finish this off.
So Mrs. Martin couldn't be here today, so I'm going to step in and go over her classes. I think there's a commercial for the CHS psychology class.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Okay, this is our review day for your midterm. And so I put some review ideas up on the board. For now, if anyone interested in going on to college, definitely should take a psychology class. It's required in every major. Also, psychology plays a role in every part of your life. So it's good for anyone if you understand yourself and others.
This is to take psychology. Mrs. Martin's a very fun teacher. She has good learning strategies, so she is a psychology teacher, so you can actually learn from her.
Okay, if you are interested in more like psychological applications, Mrs. Martin also offers applied psych, where she'll go over like sleep disorders and how to improve your sleep, dream analysis, things like that. And I know she does a big unit on stress management and gives tips on how to manage stress and deal with those type of things that come up in life that get you down. And then finally, she teaches a Western European history class, and you can see up there the topics: ancient Greece, Rome, the barbarians, Middle Ages, the Napoleonic Wars, and World War I. So if you like history, Western European history is pretty awesome historical topic to study, so check that out if you're interested in that. So I'm going to hand it over to the math department now.
All right, good morning. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Mrs. Huber, and I'm one of the math teachers here at the high school. And I just want to go over a couple changes that we have going on in the math department for next year. The first one is that every incoming 9th grader, except for those of you that currently have Algebra 1 in 8th grade, all incoming 9th graders will be taking an Algebra 1 course next year. There is no more fundamentals, so you will be taking Algebra 1 as an incoming 9th grader. The next change that is going on is that our current pre-calculus class, if you know it as pre-calc, will now be called advanced math. You'll hear that again in a second. And what you currently know as trig is going to be CHS pre-calculus, and that is a mandatory class if you plan on taking calc. And we'll hear some of those changes again here in a second. I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Phillips, here's our flow chart. Sorry, I missed this. You'll see this in the front of your scheduling handbook. It just gives your track of where you are right now, and you can follow down. You can look at where you are currently and follow the web to see where you should head in the future. On the right-hand side, that's definitely towards your college track. If you're a college-level student, you want to be on the right-hand side of that track over there. But you can get into those upper-level math classes towards the bottom. So I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Phillips now, who will be talking about practical math.
Howdy, kids. Thank you. All right, I'm here to talk to you about practical math. I'm Mrs. Phillips. Practical math, you need to have 2 math credits before you take my course. Typically, it's a junior, senior level class. We do a lot of math in the real world applications. For the first semester, we talk about budgeting and check writing and credit and buying a house and all that stuff. In the second half, we do more projects. So we do things like designing a dream house, furnishing your apartment, trying to think of what other stuff. What else do we do, juniors? I have some juniors in here that took it, or taking it now. We do some other projects. So it's a fun class, you should take it, and I'm going to pass it off now to Ms. Cibula.
Good morning, Lakeview. I'm Ms. Cibula, for those of you that do not know me. I currently teach CHS statistics, and the big change is that this year we had a statistics course and a CHS statistics class. Next year it's all going to be CHS statistics, which means you can get college credit for it at a good price. It's also a weighted class. Anybody that's interested in going into college, careers such as business or accounting, anything in the math, sciences, medical field, definitely a class for you. You do not need to take it as a college class though. So you can be in that class and not pay for the college credit and still get the benefits and be ready for all those STEM careers that are out there. I'm now going to pass it off. There may be a video. Thank you, Anthony and Logan.
Why take stats and advanced maths in high school?
Well, advanced math and statistic courses can only help you in the long run for college and SATs, for example.
Alright. So, Anthony, what's this I hear about college credit?
Yeah, you can get 4 college credits for cheaper than getting it while in college.
Anthony, will this class help prepare you for a STEM course outside of high school?
Yes, it will, because it's not just math, it involves science and engineering. It's pretty much everything, the whole 9 years.
So, would you guys recommend CHS stats?
Yes.
Good morning. I am Mr. Steiger, for those that may not know. I would agree with what the young men said about STEM fields and so on. I will be teaching the CHS pre-calculus course next year, which is what we currently have as our trig class. It is a precursor to calculus. So as was mentioned, if you are aiming to take calculus, you definitely want to consider that. I would agree with what Mrs. Snyder said. If you're a worker, you're eligible, basically. This is
I look forward to working with motivated kids that are aiming high. I want to encourage you this morning to push yourself a little bit and see what you can accomplish. I think there are some advantages to taking advanced mathematics. I don't know if you've looked into careers a whole lot. I suspect you are in the midst of doing that. Have you noticed that a lot of the real good paying careers involve math in some way, shape, or form? Not all of them, but many do. So I would consider that if I were you. I would encourage you to think about your future. CHS courses have the obvious advantage of the possibility of getting college credit while you're still here. So that is a really neat opportunity that I never had that you guys have, so take advantage of that. If you take upper level math, whether it's CHS or not, you're building a good transcript. People are going to look at that. They're going to see that you weren't afraid to do hard things, all right, by signing up for some of those courses. So I would encourage you to muster the motivation to do that. I think that's all I needed to tell you. I thank you very much. Have a great day.
All right, if current pre-calc class, again, next year is going to be called Advanced Mathematics. The prereq there is a C or better in Algebra 2, so you may not be planning on taking calculus in high school, that's okay. But you still are planning on going to college, you should definitely think about the advanced math course because it will prepare you for a college level math class. And then I have one more thing, I think. Yeah. All right, so something you guys think math is kind of boring. You know, we're not real exciting in the math department, but we have candy for the first person that can come up with the missing number in that triangle, and you have to tell me why. 6. Raise your hand so we can truly find the first person. Alyssa Slater.
I'm going to have to say 3.
Why is it 3?
Alright, because I'm looking like that first one, take 6 minus 2, which is, what is that, 4? 4 times 2, which is 8 in the middle. Alright, and that applies to all of them.
Absolutely. So on the right-hand side, 6 minus 5 is 1, and 1 times 3 is 3. Nice job. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Sample for the science department.
Good morning, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Mr. Sample, and I am the head of the science department. I also teach chemistry, so I'm going to talk just briefly about what the science curriculum looks like in high school here, 9 through 12, and then I'll tell you a little bit about the chemistry classes I teach, and then I also have to fill in for Mr. Bartlett this morning, who's under the weather. So as far as the science department is concerned, most of you as 9th graders have Mr. Bartlett for physical science. There are a few that end up in biology as 9th graders. After biology, or after 9th grade physical science, the next step is biology. Biology is required, so you have to take biology. You also have to pass the biology keystone, which is why you have to take biology. So you're either going to take biology in 9th or 10th grade, and then after that, there are a whole bunch of electives for you to choose from. Okay, all the other science courses that we offer are electives, so you get to choose whatever ones you want to take. The ones that you feel fit best for what you want to do. We have everything that's listed up there. I'm not going to read it off to you, you guys can read. And Mrs. Ryan, myself, we're going to talk about most of them anyway. Normally, if you are planning to go to college or post-secondary or whatever, if you're going to do something else, after biology, you kind of want to go into chemistry and then maybe physics or any of those upper-level sciences. And we hope, we encourage you to challenge yourself, as Mr. Steiger said. I've always said, those that have had me in class before said that, you've heard me say that high school is the resume for the rest of your life, right? You want to build that resume as best you can. You want your resume to stand out when you go to apply to do whatever it is you're going to do after you leave high school. So the way that you can make that resume look the best is by taking challenging courses, harder courses, making yourself look like you're willing to work hard and try your best to do things, even if they might be just a little bit above your skill set. You know, that's what we want to challenge you to do. So, Mrs. Ryan will talk about all the biology, and Mr. Fagley will talk about all the other biology stuff. I'm going to handle the chemistry stuff. So in the chemistry department, we have 3 levels of chemistry. Chem 1 is kind of an introductory chemistry class that walks you through kind of the basics of chemistry. It's designed, I want everybody to take chemistry, so I encourage you to come try chemistry 1, and it's designed so that everybody can succeed in Chem 1. Okay? If you're willing to put in the work, you can succeed in Chem 1. Then we have Chem 2, which is a more advanced chemistry class. We get into topics that are a little bit more rigorous than maybe even high school work is. We talk about things like thermodynamics and electrochemistry and nuclear chemistry and organic chemistry. And then last but not least, we do have CHS Chem 3. And again, this is a college course where you can earn college credit in high school, graduate with 4 PIT credits in chemistry for a price that is a fraction of what you would pay if you were going to college. Okay, the $320 price tag for a CHS Chem class is less than 1 credit costs at a university. So you're getting 4 credits for less than the price of 1. It's a challenging course, but it's very doable. So I encourage you to try CHS Chem 3. Okay, come see what it's all about. We go to Pitt and do 5 labs down on the Pitt campus in college labs run by college professors. So you'll get to see what that looks like. You'll get to experience a college laboratory experience in high school. And so that's the chemistry department. So Chem 1, usually taken right after biology, can be taken at the same time as you're taking biology in certain cases. We have had many students that double up and take bio and chem at the same time so that you have the opportunity to take more of these upper level science electives. The CHS Chem, the CHS Bio that Mrs. Ryan will talk about, Anatomy and Physiology that Mr. Fagley will talk about, and then all of the other physics courses as well that I'm also going to talk about for Mr. Bartlett. So this is astrophysics, which is all about astronomy.
What is astrophysics?
Astrophysics is the study of space. We talk about space and technology and the planets, the stars, galaxies, things of that nature.
What can you expect to do in this class?
You can expect we go through different chapters, learn different material about the planets and the stars and all that kind of thing. And then we also do a lot of individual projects. You guys will research a planet and present it to the class.
Why do you like astrophysics?
It's a really laid-back class, but it's also a lot of fun. We watch a lot of cool videos, and we do some fun projects, and space is just
All right, so that was astrophysics. If you're interested in space, planets, stars, rockets, space travel, Mr. Bartlett does a fantastic job with all of that. He also teaches an applied physics course with CAD, and I believe Mr. Freiters works kind of in conjunction with this as well. You help with this class, right, Mr. Freiters? Yep, okay. So this is for those of you that might be thinking about engineering, might be thinking about mechanical drawing type careers and fields where you can start to apply some physics concepts and use the computer-aided drafting and drawing on the computers with Mr. Freiters to really experience physics in the real world. Hands-on approach, design and build things like bridges, cars, gear systems. You get to use the 3D printer and the laser engravers and the CNC machines and whatnot down there. Great introduction to physics and engineering concepts without the math required in physics. So one of the big things in physics is there's a lot of math. If you want that physics approach without all that math, then this might be the course for you. And then last but not least, Mr. Bartlett also teaches physics, which, is a weighted course. It's essential for anyone considering the engineering field. If you plan to be an engineer, whether it be a chemical engineer or a mechanical engineer or a packaging engineer or anything like that, physics is where you need to be. It's beneficial for many other majors, including math and physical sciences. Look up the courses you'll need in college. Okay, I went to college and was going for a chemistry degree, but I had to take 6 credits of physics in college. I had to take 6 credits of calculus in college. Okay, so you oftentimes don't realize what courses are going to be required of you when you go to a major in college. So look into that type of stuff and see what it is you need to be taking. I didn't take any physics in high school, and I regretted that when I went to college, okay? It's heavily math-based, okay? So you need at least to be in trig or pre-calc, CHS pre-calc next year to take physics, because the math involved in physics is upper level math. You're gonna be using trig and calculus in there, okay? And next up, I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Fagley, who has some videos and whatnot to talk about his.
We'll watch the video first.
Okay, ecology, wildlife bio. You see, children, this class is all about the outdoors.
I like spending time in the outdoors, and I like ecology because you get to learn all about it.
I enjoy ecology because Mr. Fegley is the best teacher.
I like ecology because me and Mr. Fegley have good chemistry together. Today we're going to be learning about the chloroplast.
Get out of here! Today we're going to be learning about the chloroplast. We utilize lots of resources, including this affectionately termed book, The Grass Bible, when we're talking about photosynthesis and other animals of various natures and various species. The ecology side of it is outside. Aside from the Grass Bible, we bring in speakers from the Fish and Boat Commission. We do boater safety courses. We do stream sampling. We do lots of fun stuff. That's what class is about, learning about the outside.
All right, thanks, Logan, wherever you are, wherever Logan's at. Is he in here? No. Yeah. So Logan Hogue made that presentation. He did a good job. But as you see, the wildlife side of things is kind of split between semesters here. We have ecology first semester, which is kind of a general overview of how animals, how everything works in nature, how it fits. They all have a place and they all have a specialty. And we spend a lot of time, as much time as we can, outside learning about ecology. The second half of that class is wildlife bio, where we specialize in Pennsylvania-based species, both plants and animals. That side of it is a little more challenging. It's a lot more sciencey. The classes, or the topics there are, we break it down by evolutionary concept. We have mammals, birds, amphibians, reptiles, and fishes. And we specialize in Pennsylvania things, so that's cool. You guys can see all this stuff outside every day. If you are interested in any of these kind of fields, potentially even being like a game commission officer or working for the Department of Natural Resources or things like that, this is a great set of classes to have. We just got done yesterday with the boater safety course. That's part of the class. You get certified to be able to operate jet skis. How many of you have operated a jet ski? If you did so without a license, you did it illegally, right? To operate a jet ski in any state, you have to have a boater safety card. So that's one of the things, the opportunities that you get working with the Fish and Boat Commission, taking this class. I don't know what's next. Anatomy, okay, here we go. Oh, God.
Okay, so anatomy and physiology is a class that's dedicated to studying the human body and how it works. Some of the systems we cover are the skeletal system, muscular system, digestive system, nervous system, endocrine.
Anatomy takes a lot of work, but it's really beneficial in the end, especially if you're going to go into the medical field.
Anatomy will help me achieve my future career plans, and I think the class is fun.
I love anatomy because I learned a lot that I didn't know before, and a lot of the information I'll be using for college.
It's a class designed mostly for kids who are thinking about going into the medical field in some capacity. Very challenging, very rigorous. You can expect a test or a quiz once a week.
So as you kind of heard here a little bit, anatomy is, in my opinion, one of the most challenging courses here at Lakeview. Next year, you will be given the opportunity to receive college credits for this class. We are working towards that right now. It is weighted. I believe it'll be a 1.5 weighted class. It is, like some of the kids said, very challenging. Not in terms that you have homework every single night, but if you have trouble with attendance and if you don't study every night, you are going to be in big trouble. This class should be strongly considered by anybody considering any part of the medical field. If you are thinking about becoming a nurse, if you are thinking about going into the x-ray technology field, any of the medical imageries, obviously doctors, physical therapists, heavily suggest you take this class. When you get to college, you're going to learn all this material in half the time. So we're able to take our time, we're able to do this over the course of a year. In college, you're going to have 1 semester to learn all this stuff. Just to put it in perspective, you have about 600 muscles in the human body. We only get through about 100 of them. And so that's a kind of mindset you need to have here as we go through stuff like this with anatomy. I can't think of anything else. Oh, another thing we get to do here, we are going actually next week to LECOM. How many of you have heard of the LECOM? Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine. You know what they have up there? They have cadavers. Who knows what a cadaver is? Right. So the anatomy students are going to have an opportunity to go to college, to LECOM, and work with actual doctors on human bodies. So that's kind of an interesting opportunity. Last year we had a student who was in this class, got accepted to LECOM while we were there because he was so knowledgeable about the stuff he was learning in anatomy before he even got to college. So that was awesome. You guys know Brock Pierce, that was him, that was the student. So he did a fantastic job. And I think that's all I have. I think, Mrs. Ryan, are you next?
Okay, so I don't know if this video is going to work. Forensic science. Forensic science, we are learning about crimes and what it takes to convict someone of a crime. It's a half credit. It is, I think, kind of easy. It's pretty easy. It's an elective, and it's supposed to be sort of fun, and we learn a lot about crimes and crime scenes and cases.
Hey gang. What is forensic science?
Forensic science is the study of the law and the science that is needed that leads to the conviction of a person who committed a crime.
What can students expect in this class?
Students can expect to learn lots of things about crimes and biology combined.
And why'd you take this class?
I like forensic science.
Okay, so that told you a lot. The next class I teach is honors biology. Now this is a weighted class and you have to be recommended by your current science teacher. So this would be for students that have 8th grade, or in 8th grade now, Mrs. Gunlock will recommend you for the class. Or if you are in Mr. Bartlett's physical science class and you want to take honors, it is weighted slightly. What do we call it? I think it's 1.05. It's slightly weighted, and it is for if you're looking to go into a college science course, like later on if you want to take advanced biology, this is the class that you should take. CHS Advanced Biology, this is the first year I taught this. You get 3 PIT credits. This is a good deal. You get 3 PIT credits, and 1 PIT credit costs $700. But you can get 3 PIT credits for $245, folks. This is a deal. This is a deal. So this class is not to be in place of, like when you go to college, say you decide to go to college and you want to major in biology, this is not going to replace the class that you're going to take in college. This is going to help you do better in that class when you go to college. So if you are going to college in any capacity, this would be a good class to take because you get 3 credits. And in this class, we do all the same things that we always did in regular advanced biology, except for we added a little more of what they want in college. And you can also take this without PIT credit. So if you don't want to pay the $245, you can still take the class. I didn't do environmental biology. How did I miss that? Environmental biology is another elective, and it is a half a credit, and it is kind of a continuation of Mr. Fagley's ecology. We go on to how humans affect the environment and not just how the ecosystem goes, and that also is half a credit. All right, thank you. You've been a really good audience so far. We're not done, but it's time to take a break. So I'm going to let everybody just stand up, stretch a little bit.
Shut up. Jeffrey's sleeping. That's what you see, so I still heard your camera. Hi, camera. I'm messing away. Yeah, I know. I have an art class. I don't know. Probably hiding behind the carpet. Oh, you know, it's down right. What? It's down. Bailey. Which team are you on? Our third team or Liv's team? Team Lena or Team Blue?
So this break has been brought to you by the Sailor 200 Club. And we have some giveaways. So if you want to start settling back in. Now we just finally had, since October I think was when we started with the clean board, our second board started in October. We just finished it this past week. So instead of 10 winners, we actually had 11 in a row, had 11 winners. And those are kids who are recognized for following expectations for all kinds of different things. Teachers turn in the little tickets. You come down, you sign your name on the wall, and when we have 10 in a row, you might get a mystery motivator. So the last one was, some kids got $10 Subway cards, and some got $10, I thought they were Mets cards, so if you were one of those winners and I told you they were to spend in the cafeteria, I was wrong. They're sponsored by Mets, but they're actually Amazon gift cards. So you can take them to Amazon and use them, but thank the lunch ladies when you go through because they provided those. So we have a few extra cards. We have 4 of the Mets Amazon cards, and then we have 2 sets of tickets to the Sundance Arena, which is fitting for our theme day today. So if you choose the Sundance Arena tickets, you get to take 2. And we're going to make one of these a teacher prize because the teachers spend a lot of time filling out those tickets and just supporting you on a daily basis. So we want to thank them as well. So the last one that we pull will be a teacher prize, and it'll be first come, first serve. So when you come up, you can choose the Mets card, which is actually Amazon, or a pair of the Sundance tickets. And you have to be here to win. So if we call your name and you're not here, we'll call somebody else's name. All right, first student is Alexis Martin for helping out in the kitchen. Come on up, Alexis. Oh, she's a senior. All right, well, we'll let her. We're going to pick for her. We're going to give her the Mets Amazon card. All right. Next one is Mackenzie Barnes. Great job helping group members during lab. Very kind. Here comes Mackenzie. What do you want, Mackenzie? The tickets or the card? Okay, she wants the Amazon card. All right. Next, we have Noelle Burkowski for helping with the Fun Fest. She's a senior. All right, we're going to give her the Mets card. Okay. Next, Olivia Johnson for making such a fun contribution in ecology. Love the snort or the snark? The shark. I can't read it. Is she here? Okay, you want the tickets or the card? All right, she got the last card. So the next two are for tickets to the Sundance Arena. Matthew Johnson, much better attitude on your science. There's Matthew. There he is. Matthew gets to take somebody to the rodeo. All right, so we have one set left. So this is going to be a teacher prize. Right off the one you have. Yep. All right, so this one, oh boy, except I don't know if I can read it. I'm so sorry, but I have no idea who this is. Starts with a C for the first name. Colleen Phillips. Yes, Mrs. Phillips. Come on down. She's going to the rodeo. Nice job. We'll put those tickets back in the box for the big drawing at the end of the year. Remember, at the end of the year, we have some big prizes, and you have to be here to win that day. Okay, we're going to move on with our program now. Starting with our fine arts and world languages, and Mr. Cumston. Mr. Wisner's talking first? Okay, you don't want to do an introduction? That's all right.
Hello.
Oh, I don't have a...
So I just as a disclaimer, everyone in this video is a real person and definitely not a paid actor. So just disclaimer. The video should say it all, so this is it for me. Yeehaw. Hey! Go David!
Art room. Oh, hello, Italy. What's that you said? You'd like me to repaint the Sistine Chapel? Let me check my schedule, and I'll get back to you. I love you too.
Don't touch me!
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I'm Mr. Wisner, and I teach... art. That's right. I teach art. In the art class, you'll learn all sorts of things, including... line.
What?
Line.
Line.
What?
Your line is line.
Okay. You'll learn all kinds of things, including line, color, shape, space, texture, and all the other elements and principles of art.
What do you like about art class?
I love art class.
But don't take my word for it. I'm so sorry. You can bleep that out, right?
Let's give Mr. Windsor a hand.
Okay, I'll be up here a couple times because I also have to talk about the business department as well.
But you just saw Mr. Wisner and the courses that he teaches. Also coming up is the foreign language classes we teach, Spanish 1, 2, 3, and 4, French 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's a couple commercials lined up there. And then we go into our arts with Mr. May and Mr. Bandai. But first up is Senora, and there are a couple videos ahead, so.
Hola, buenos dias. Me llamo Senora. There are some videos. We're going to watch the first one.
Hola, bienvenidos a la clase de Español 1 y 2. It's Spanish 1 and 2. It's basically basics of Spanish.
Spanish can be useful if you ever plan on going south or traveling the world.
Toma español. Es muy divertido.
Spanish is fun.
Bienvenidos a mi cuna. Hugo? Olivia? In Spanish 3 and 4, it's a combined class. And more conversation, a lot more reading. For example, we will read chapter books. We have more projects, more speaking projects. We're learning about artists right now, and they have to do a presentation in Spanish talking about the artists. We have verb tests every Friday, and I hope you join our class.
Join Spanish 3 and 4. It is fun.
The only thing I wanted to add to that is Spanish 4 is going to be AP next year. So honestly, if you're going to go to college, you really should have more than 2 years of a language. Talk to any former students. They will tell you that you have to take a placement test for a language, and if you don't pass, you're going to be taking a language, and it's a lot more difficult. So just don't think after you finish Spanish 2 you're done. But AP is going to be a lot of culture, a lot of grammar. I looked at the curriculum. Actually, next year's group, you will be fine because it's a lot of things we've done already. So, gracias.
Alors, bonjour. Super fantastique, merci bien. Alors, je m'appelle Madame, et aujourd'hui, moi, je vais parler de français, bien sûr. Et dans quelques mois, vous pouvez parler français exactement comme moi. Alors, so, let me go ahead and explain to you a little bit about why it is important for you to take French. French will open up a completely different world for you. It not only introduces you to adventure, but it also allows you to enhance your career. That means your career can go anywhere you want it to. And a lot of people think, oh my goodness, it's just if you're a language major, or you're a translator, or you're an interpreter. No, I have had many students that have had degrees in different things, such as engineering, being able to travel the world, work somewhere else, be paid their complete salary, and also be paid a stipend to live and also to have transportation. So careers today, because the world is so global, is so very open. So if you're up for some adventure and you would like to go to different places in the world, definitely make sure that you add French to your list because it will definitely benefit you. Speaking about being global, Maybe some of you are like, oh, I'm not so sure I want to be too global. I don't want to be taken out of my comfort zone. So you can be global by remaining in the French classroom, because we really travel around the world without ever exiting the door. Or if you would like to add a little bit more adventure to your life, let's go somewhere. Let's go to a foreign land. And that's another thing that I love my students to do, is to experience all the nooks and crannies where you can find French on the different continents, okay? So anyway, let's get to the CHS class, okay? For those of you that are entering into French 4, definitely, I agree. The cost is so minimal for being able to get 3 French credits to take on to college with you. They're through Pitt University, which is a very reputable university, so those credits will transfer to you very, very easily. I can say from past experience for my students, some have gone on with 12 college credits and had an entire semester where they did not have to pay anything. So anyway, I hope that I will see many of you in the upcoming year in the different French classes. So please sign up for French class, and it will open up a whole new world to you if you want to be challenged, but at the same time, have some great fun.
Mr. Van Dyke.
How do you get into chamber singers?
You are required to be in the choir, and you are to audition for an outside panel of judges. We built sandcastles that wash away. I made you cry when I walked away. And I know I promised that I couldn't stay, baby.
So why are choir kids the smartest, best dressed, and the coolest kids in Lakeview?
Well, have you seen our role model? I mean, Mr. Van Dyke's the smartest guy I know. He dresses the nicest, and he's also the coolest person ever. So we obviously have to be mini music. Because you can. Your beauty is beyond compare, with flaming locks of auburn hair, with ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Your smile is like a breath of spring.
Kids in choir tend to do better in math, science, and English classes, and are usually in less trouble than other kids.
Sorry, what? I'm trying to find the cure for cancer.
You don't even have a cancer.
Dentists in the dark. I was scared. Pretty girls and starting conversations. Oh, all my friends are turning green.
So, Doug, why do you want to be in choir?
Well, I think everyone gets to express themselves some way, and one of the ways I like to is musically or vocally.
Maria, 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 Maria. I just met a girl named Maria, and suddenly that name will never be the same to me.
I heard the choir is going to New York this spring for their trip. Do you guys want to go anywhere else?
I'd like to go to Nashville. I want to go to Virginia Beach. Chicago.
I'd love to go to Disney World in a couple of years.
Whoa, longest for the longest time. Whoa, longest for the longest. If you said goodbye to me tonight, there would still be music left to write.
this was my first year in choir. Guys like Andrew and Wyatt and them, they really took me in the guys section. Wyatt being a tenor, Andrew a bass, and I've just really enjoyed it.
Well, folks, it's a no-brainer.
Join us in the Lakeview Choir next year.
All right, so we have a lot of fun in choir. Ask the kids that are in it. We do work hard. I won't sugarcoat any of that, but there's a lot of talent that leads down in this end of the wing. We'd love to have more. Please come join us. We are taking a trip to New York. We will take a trip next year. I don't know where it's going to be. I would love to go to Disney in a couple of years, so that's not out of the question if that's going to sway some of you. Some other classes that I teach, am I supposed to talk about those now too? Okay, so History of Rock and Roll is happening right now. There's a quick video with Sophia's sister, Clarissa, who took the class last year, and she'll talk a little bit more about that one. But a new class for next semester in the fall is going to be Intro to Guitar. So we have 21 guitars in my classroom that we're going to be able to use. You'll be able to learn tab, chords. We'll probably do a little bit of singing and figure out what chords fit with some popular songs that you know, things like that, so that it does relate to things you might want to do, and then you can kind of pull a Braden sample and be able to play the guitar for people and sing. So if you're interested in Intro to Guitar, go ahead and do that. And thank you to those of you that helped with that video, all of my students, thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Clarissa, and I took History of Rock last year with Mr. Van. I think that you should take the class because it was a lot of fun, and we spent a lot of time covering not only older artists, but artists that are popular today. We talked about the controversies of Paul McCartney's death and Tupac's death, and we also talked about whether or not Michael Jackson is still alive. At the end of the year, we went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and that was a really cool trip, and it was one of the best places I think I've been.
So if you've got questions about any of that, please feel free to stop in and see me. I'm also here to talk about band today for Mr. May real quick. So the Sailor Band, this is right from him. Band is a year-long season, marching to parade to concert to parade to marching band again. So the Sailor Band has a long tradition of marching excellence, often called one of the most entertaining in Mercer County and surrounding areas. A lot of hard work and a very fantastic reward, excuse me, it's a pride thing. The band performs at all football games, select marching festivals, and local parades. The concert season brings in the festivals as well. The entire band prepares and presents concerts. Students looking for more can audition for District 5 Honors Band, Mercer County Honors Band, and District Band. Other honors are available at WVU, Kent State, and Mercyhurst. Often the band will also travel to perform at New York City, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and Gettysburg. Those are in combo with the choir trips as well. Jazz Band's also going to be a class next year. So Jazz Band is an extension of the concert band. Students will be learning jazz styles and improvisation. The Sailor Jazz Band not only hosts a jazz festival each year, but also attends at least 2 other festivals to observe other groups and learn other styles and perform for appreciative audiences. Guest clinicians will also be coming in to work with both of those groups. If you've got questions about either, please feel free to stop into my room and see me right on the other side of that wall. I can talk about either. I'm assistant marching band director as well. So if you would like to come in and talk to me about anything more, I'd love to see you. Thanks, everyone.
Just to tag on that real quick, next year, if you haven't heard, our Career Center classes will go in the mornings instead of the afternoons. And so to make sure that those students still have opportunities for band and chorus, band has been moved to the afternoon for next year as well. So don't think that you can't go to the Career Center or you'll miss band or vice versa. We did make that switch in the schedule.
Okay, I'm up here to talk about Mr. Bill May's classes as well as my own. I'll start by talking about Mr. May's classes now. You guys probably all know that Mr. May will not be here. He's crossing the finish line at the end of the year. He is going on to retire. But we are going to replace him. We'll be hiring somebody else new. And for the courses that are going to be offered next year, are Internet and Multimedia, Business Web Design, Tech Tools, Digital Photography 1 and 2, Video Production, and Accounting 1 and 2. we have 3 new courses that are being installed for next year. Intro to Business, Intro to Marketing, and Personal Finance Literacy. Intro to Business is basically going to be a rundown of how business works. During that class, you will study operations and principles of business. You'll study different business models from corporate, small business, and many others. You'll learn about business responsibilities. You'll learn about ethics. You'll learn about laws that govern business and how you can do things and why you can't in some cases. You'll learn about HR and personnel management, and you'll also learn about financing on the, you'll learn about running a business on the financial side of things. So if you think that business is a career you might be looking into in the future, highly recommend you take that class. This class is tentatively scheduled to be offered the first semester of next year. The second class that's sort of a part 2 to that is Intro to Marketing. That's technically scheduled for second semester next year. As I said, Intro to Marketing, that'll be a half-year, half-credit course, and during that time, you'll study marketing research, the effect of competition on business, pricing, advertising, marketing at the local level, national level, and global level. It's not a prerequisite. Intro to Business is not a prerequisite, but it is strongly recommended if you're going to take Intro to Marketing. And the final new class is Personal Finance, and it's geared for the person who wants to make sound financial decisions. Once again, you'll be studying various economic models. You'll be looking at taxes. Personal finances will be studied in depth there. This is a class that can be highly recommended for everyone to take. Now, also the full year courses, we have Accounting 1 and 2, which are currently offered. And during the accounting courses, you'll analyze business transactions, you'll use accounting software, you'll, as Mr. May put on here, 4 of the top 10 most profitable college degrees right now are accounting, economics, business administration, and marketing. It's a highly employable field for you. It's recommended that you take those classes, even if you're not going to major in business. A lot of colleges, if you're looking the college route, require you to take some form of an accounting class. Also, having accounting skills is something that's a good skill to have just as a human being moving forward. Keeping track of your own money, it helps you avoid being upside down in a mountain of debt. So now we move on to my classes. Once again, the class I just talked about, all the business classes, those will be with whoever is hired to replace Mr. May. If there is any replacing Mr. May. So, we come now to Digital Photography 1 and 2, and there have videos made up for both. We'll talk about those, and for some reason or another, nobody wanted to make a video for video production. Can't explain it. But here's Digital Photography 1. Digital photography is designed to be a fun class that is going to make you take better pictures, for lack of a better word. During that time, you'll be working with higher-end digital imaging equipment, and you'll be working with a variety of different lenses, learning about different shots, different photographers, different techniques, so that way, whenever someone says, "Hey, can you take my picture?" the answer is a resounding yes.
Here in digital photography, they learn how to take pictures and edit pictures, and it's a lot of fun. And we work with the green screen and some Photoshop. We do a lot of fun projects. Mr. Compson is awesome. It's a great class. Highly recommend.
We isolate the individual aspects of photo taking that the cameras do for you in Digital 1, and we work with them separately. We vary shutter speeds, we change f-stops, we work with a variety of different lenses,
we really work on taking your photo-taking skills to the next level.
I'm in digital photography too with Mr. Comstead, and this is a great class. We learn a lot of the aspects of taking pictures, a lot more in-depth than digital photography 1. We edit the pictures, we work with the green screen, we study famous photographers, which is really fun.
My favorite part of this class is just learning something that otherwise you might not ever be able to learn. And you should take it because you never know when you might need it.
Photo 2 is a leap beyond Photo 1. You should take it. It's a great compliment and a great way to pass half a year by. Thank you for everyone who participated in that. Alyssa, good job. You did more talking about my classes than I'm going to. All right, and the final one is video production. Now, you guys hopefully all watch the announcements every morning. That's a direct result of video production. During video production class, we learn about the finer aspects of video producing, okay? All the videos you guys have been watching today all came from video production, and those videos don't just happen on their own. They were planned, they were sketched out and storyboarded, they were scripted, they were shot, they were more often than not reshot, a couple of them. They had to be edited, which, as everyone who takes that class finds out, video editing takes a lot of time to do to actually get a good product, and then to put everything together in a final project. Next year, whoever takes video production will be doing this again. So if you see something on here and think, I bet I could do better, sign up for the class, give it a shot. One thing with video production though, if you are someone who knows right now that I can't stand working with other people and working in a group, don't sign up for the class. We cannot do anything in video production that is completely by yourself, because video production by its nature requires more than one person. So, also, when in that class, we do a variety of things. In the past, due to a public service announcement that we created, and actually this year, the ladies coming in this week, everyone in my one class is getting 2 free tickets to a Penguins game coming up this week. Actually, the game they're getting tickets to is next week. But anyhow, sign up for the class. We'd love to see you there. It's a good time.
All right, Mr. Freiters.
Hi everybody, I'm Mr. Freiters. So I teach all the technology, education, and industrial arts classes. The first class that you will want to take is Intro to Manufacturing and Design. That's a prerequisite to all the other classes. So all my classes are project-based classes and highly focused on STEM learning, science, technology, engineering, and math. My classes are designed for students that enjoy being creative and making things. In these classes, you'll learn to use a variety of different technologies and equipment. Just a little layout of Introduction to Manufacturing Design. This is going to introduce you to computer-aided drafting design, graphic arts and design, laser engraving, 3D printing, and CNC machining. We will also get into proper operation of woodworking tools and equipment. Again, this is a prerequisite to all the other classes that I am involved with, and this fulfills a 1/2 credit of your technology elective. This is just a quick picture of some of the projects that we get into in intro. Then once you get through intro, you would be able to take Advanced Manufacturing 1 and 2. Again, these are project-driven courses that teach students to properly develop, design, and create both required and independent projects. So if you like kind of taking on things on your own, maybe making stuff for your house or whatever, that's a good time for you to work on projects like that. We use both traditional woodworking tools and more advanced technologies in these classes, again with lasers and things like that. So this is a video. I'm not really sure what's on it, so I'm hoping for the best. Advanced Manufacturing 2 is a more independent study-driven class. It's for students that have excelled at Intro to Manufacturing and advanced manufacturing 1. Students should have a good background in 3D modeling, laser engraving, and also woodworking and things like that. It's definitely for kids that like to design and make their own projects, be creative, things like that. That was a 3D printed mini hockey set, by the way. Okay, just some other pictures I'd like to throw in here, just some examples of some of the projects that we work on. Those are CNC projects. In addition to this, I know Mr. Sample talked about this earlier, but I also help teach the applied physics class. This course teaches students a more advanced computer drafting design that is definitely helpful if you want to go into the engineering fields. We do also use a lot of the equipment with that class, and it's highly recommended for kids that want to pursue technical training or an engineering field. This is just a picture of some of the 3D modeling that we do in that class. Just another project. We do CO2 dragsters, bridge modeling, and we get into some different gear systems and things like that. Some 3D printing examples. Okay, and then I also teach Manufacturing Enterprise with Mr. Gadsby. This is an economics credit. It's more of a hands-on based economics class. It's an upper level manufacturing and economics based course. The ideas and concepts of a working production business. It's organized more as a company than a class. Different people have different roles throughout the time, whether it's being a boss or a general laborer, things like that. The students that kind of start out at the entry level will kind of progress up into the higher ranks as the class moves on. The products created in class, we sell them either as fundraisers or we also take on charitable projects that benefit the community. This class requires students to be Manufacturing Enterprise Club members as well. Just another picture of some projects we worked on. Okay, thanks.
And this is Bruce next, I think, on that. I'm trying to cut. The classes that I teach are family living for you freshmen or upcoming freshmen. That is a required class. Living on your own, Intro to Family and Consumer Science, Culinary 2, and Culinary 3. And I'm just gonna let the videos play because McKinley Barish and Jensen Troy did some fantastic videos for you all to see.
Intro to Family and Consumer Science is some basic sewing skills and some basic cooking skills. We go over utensils, methods, then we start into preparing some basic things. A lot of it is in the kitchen, but we do some projects in the Google Classroom and books to get a foundation for cooking. A lot of the things that we talk about in Intro to Family and Consumer Science are basic skills that students will be able to take as they leave Lakeview High School.
My favorite part about basic foods is eating the finished products.
It's really fun to work with everyone.
Join Basic Foods!
This is an example of a brownie plating activity that we did in Intro to Family Consumer Science. They made a brownie and then they were given a list of 10 different food items, syrups, fruits that they could add to make it look appealing. This would be thanks to Jensen Troy, so. Welcome to room 144. Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Culinary 2. We will go over some of the basics of things that you went over in Intro to Family and Consumer Science. Most of the things that you will do are back here in the kitchen. We will go over units such as the pasta unit, breakfast foods, quick breads, yeast breads. We will do some casseroles, holiday traditions, we'll do a cake wars. There are a lot of fun things that we will do in Culinary 2. It's an overall fun
fun experience for everyone. So you should sign up. Hello. I'm going to tell you about culinary today. You're laughing at me. You can't laugh at me. But listen, you get to use technology, and it's fantastic.
Just some photos from Cupcake Wars in Culinary 2 and 3. Halloween Wars from Culinary 2 and 3. And here's Mr. Sutherland.
Hey, I just want to say to all my peer teachers, great job today. I think in the last one, so our department's not last but not least. Mrs. Drew is teaching a class right now, but how about a nice round of applause for all our teachers today? They did a great job. Absolutely outstanding. We have 5 or 4 classes downstairs. 2 of them are required, but I want to touch a lot on the ones that are electives because those are the ones you sign up for. I know that I've heard that your schedules are so crowded here because there's so many wonderful things going on in school. So if you didn't get it this year, you know, ask Mrs. Snyder again. She's been great. We had a high impact varsity sports was called. It's renamed high impact sports, and we had over 100 students sign to bring that course back. So the administration was kind enough to bring that class back. We had over 60 students take that class this year, so we're very excited about that. We're also very lucky at this school, and I don't know if you realize how lucky you are here with the fact that we have a weight room that's over $100,000, and that's just unheard of in small schools. And we have a lot of students that come down there and take advantage of that, whether it be our cardio room, which has ellipticals, bikes, and treadmills, whether it be our machines or our free weights being defined as dumbbells and barbells, pretty simple. But I'm also lucky enough to have a great person up there, Mrs. Drew, to work with, so she can go ahead and go to the next slide if you like there.
I like to weightlift because I get bigger, so I can show off in front of the ladies. Yummy!
You get huge. Get huge for the ladies, you get huge, you just get big, you want to train for a sport. We come down every single day, use the new equipment that the school bought, and we weightlift like crazy. Now, look at Mega right here. He's a changed man. This man was scrawny and small when he came here. Look at him now. He's trucking the weights like they're nothing. Take weightlifting, it'll change your life.
Things about students who want to get in better shape or enhance their athletic ability through sports, getting stronger. You can do a 3-day workout, you can do a 4-day workout, you can do a 5-day workout. Hey, I know we kid around a lot, but in all seriousness, Brett has done a great job down there. He's made efficient use of working out down there. It's been interesting to watch some of our kids go from just barely being able to lift any weight to really showing strong gains. And Trent Miller was another one. He's a pretty big kid, and a couple years ago I was like, man, he can't lift that much weight. And then all of a sudden this year he's like a beast. So he's done a great job.
There are no girls in that video, but you do have girls in weightlifting.
Where's Danielle Williams? Stand up.
Welcome.
Where's Danielle Williams at? Stand up. Okay, she's a senior. She comes down and she runs all the time. She's a student, does a great job down there. So we do have a lot of girls that come down there. And stand up, please. This young lady comes down all the time and lifts weights. She's even bought her own weightlifting gloves. So we do have a lot of girls down there that lift weights.
It's good for you, ladies.
And there's an old fallacy that you should not. A lot of girls do not lift weights, but it's actually very good for you, and you should be lifting weights. Go ahead. High Impact PE class is for all students. It's a class that we do a lot of tournaments. As you can see right now, we have a 2-on-2 basketball tournament going on, and we have a 2-on-2 cornhole tournament going on at the same time in this particular class. But it's meant meant to be very structured, so the kids can have fun. It's meant to be competitive. Pretty much most of the games we do in regular PE class, we have cornhole, badminton, basketball,
volleyball, capture the flag football, dodgeball, kickball, ping pong, and a few others.
It's a good class to take at Eason there. And too, it's a lot of fun. It's like an actual sport with fast pace and a lot of fun.
It's worth a half credit. So you can also use it towards your PE credit.
You like that, don't you?
Yeah, I saw basketball there, so being that our department does a lot with sports, girls basketball team, please stand up today. Where are they at? Girls basketball team. Stand up. Hey, I want to wish you good luck tonight. Clap for them. And where's our boys basketball team? Stand up, please. Boys basketball team, stand up. Good luck. Thank you very much.
Okay, we are almost to the end, and again, I know it's been long, you've been a great audience, there's just a few things that we want to say, kind of wrap up and get you on track so that you fill out your scheduling sheets well and know what you're doing and have a vision for where you're headed. Mr. Blakely, you want to talk about the Career Center at all?
Yeah, real quick. Mr. Freiders didn't mention, we're almost done, guys, and then we're going to cut you loose. Mr. Freiders didn't mention, and you did see just a couple ladies in his various manufacturing classes. I'll be the one to tell you, I'm a former industrial arts teacher, technology education teacher. Some of the best students down there are the ladies. So if you've got, I think last year, I can't remember some of the students that made some of the hand models. They were amazing. But ladies, as Mr. Sunderland said, there are lots of places for you. If you see a desire and you want to make a connection, those classes will welcome you. One of the things I want to mention about the Career Center is, we're almost there. As Mrs. Snyder said, we've switched the Career Center to the morning, which is going to provide a lot of afternoon opportunities for you when you return back here. But as many of you have heard me say before, when I was in college 100 years ago, it was the only option. When I sat in a room, there were 1,100 in my graduating class, but when we had a scheduling assembly like this, they passed out the little books, and when the books were about this thick, because it was a much larger school. But the conversation in those assemblies involved one option, and it was college. Everyone in there went to college, or you just got a job, or you joined the service. What I'm telling you, in 2019, college is not for everyone. Many of you will obtain training, whether it's in the military or in a technical school. You'll exit those programs with what we call minimal debt. Minimal debt, yeah, they're not free, but you can get scholarships. And your payback, your salaries are very, very good. So I don't want anybody to think college is the only option. It is not. And there are a lot of careers out there, a lot of programs that we have at our Career Center that you can exit and gain gainful employment immediately. In addition to that, as a senior, if you're a Career Center student, you may have the opportunity to work. Back when I was in school, we called it co-op, where you go to school half a day and you work the second half of the day. You start earning money while you're still in school. That's a program that the school and your employer and the Career Center, we all work together. So that's a real option for you. So again, if you're a hands-on kind of person, the Career Center may have a career out there for you, and it's something that you need to look at. So, Mrs. Snyder.
Okay. So, just to recap a little bit, you have to have at least 7 credits on your schedule, everyone. 9th grade through 12th grade, at least 7. We have 8 periods that you can take classes during the day, so you can earn up to 8 credits each year. I encourage you to take the full 8 credits because we have advisory built into the end of the day. You can have a study hall, up to 1 full period of study hall for the whole year, as long as you have the 7 credits. But if you're not willing to go to that study hall and work, then don't sign up for a study hall. You already have that advisory period built into the day. And study halls are not designed to be places where you go and just hang out or talk or listen to music. You have to actually have work to do to be there. So if you're taking some really rigorous courses and you think you're going to need some extra study time, then you may want to take that study hall. Other than that, you're going to want to fill up your schedule. When you fill out your course request forms, those are going to be due next Wednesday, a week from today, March 6th, to your advisory teachers. Those of you who are, you know what, I was going to say the Career Center kids need to turn them into Mrs. Heffron, but we don't have any seniors, so you still have an advisory teacher. You can turn those into your advisory teachers, everyone, by the end of the week. So 1 week from today, again, 7 credits, and if you are in 9th through 11th grade, actually 8th through 10th grade this year, you need to put 6 electives on your course sheet, numbered 1 to 6. However, if you pick a half-credit course, you need to pick another half-credit course to balance that out. So you may end up with more than 6. And you're numbering them in order from your number 1 preference down to your least preference. We try to give you everything that you want, but it just doesn't always work out in the schedule. Trust me, I spend hours and weeks and lots of late nights and weekends trying to work that all out to get you as many of the courses as you wanted, but it isn't always perfect. So make sure that everything that you put on that sheet is something that you're interested in. You may not get your first choice. If you're going to be a senior, right here, this section, you need to select a minimum of 12 elective classes. That's because a lot of the classes that you're going to be taking are half-credit courses, and if you only select 6, I'm going to be calling you down one at a time and saying, I need more classes, I need more classes. So you need at least 12 elective courses numbered in order from the one that you want the most to the one that you want the least. When you're a senior, you only have to take your required English and either your economics or your manufacturing and design, so which encompasses that economics credit. So that leaves you with a lot of open space. That's why seniors are different. Please don't turn one in, seniors, unless you have 12 credits, because I'm just going to call you back down and give it back to you. Okay? You need to do that. I just want to put one more plug in for the CHS and the AP courses. If you are thinking about going to college, you need to seriously think about whether it's this coming year or if you're going to be a freshman and maybe it's a couple years down the road. Start planning your strategy for how you're going to get as many of those college and high school courses in as possible, because it's going to help you in your pocketbook and it's going to help you be better prepared for college, much better prepared. So think about those things. My son and daughter have both taken the AP Lit and Lang classes the last 2 years at their school, and it's definitely doable. It's not something, neither one of them are kids that spend the entire night studying and never leave the house. So they have done well in those classes, and I am sure that a good majority of you can do the same. Okay, do carefully read the scheduling manual. It's on our website. It was posted there early this morning. So if you go to our website, Students, the scheduling manual is there in PDF form. That's where you're going to access that. We didn't print copies for everyone. Do discuss your options with your parents and your advisory teachers and any other teachers that you're currently working with. Your math teacher especially is going to help guide you into what math you need to take next year. Your English teachers are going to help guide you into which English courses to take for next year. Carefully consider the required courses that you must take by looking at the charts that are available in that book and setting your future goals. And pay attention to prerequisites. Prerequisites are the things that you must take to be able to take later classes. To take a foods class, you must take that Intro to Family Consumer Science class to do any other cooking courses. So take a look at those. Don't make scheduling decisions based on your friends. That's a big no-no. Don't forget to get the proper signatures from your parents and teachers, and don't ask for a study hall if you're not willing to work there. Keep those things in mind. One last thing, I promise, and I'm going to let you go. One last thing. I skipped a couple slides at the beginning just for time's sake, but it was a chart of the credits that you need to be able to graduate. This is important, and it's different for you seniors than it is for everybody else out there. The seniors, the upcoming seniors, are the ones who are still living under the old guidelines as far as credit requirements. You have 26 credits that you have to earn. You have to earn 3 maths and 3 science by the time you graduate. Everybody else in this room right now, and these charts are in the beginning of the scheduling handbook, everybody else has to earn 27 credits. You have a 1 extra credit requirement, which means in your high school career, you're going to have to earn 3 maths and 4 sciences, or vice versa, 4 sciences and 3 maths. It will have to equal 7. So that is a big change. You need to be aware of that, and you need to be planning ahead. Okay?
And again, we're going to go back to what I said when we opened this assembly. This is a plan. It's not a one. You're not just looking tunnel vision. What I'm going to do next year. You need to talk with parents, talk with your friends that are ahead of you, a grade ahead of you, and start to plan your 4 years. I'm going to take this next year. That's going to allow me to take this next year, so that when I am a senior, this and this is available to me. That's what we said when we started. You are plotting your plan for the future. It's important. Teachers, thank you very much for all your extra work. Mr. Cumston and the video production kids, outstanding.
Yes, nice job.
And again,
Give them a hand.
yeah, you guys did great.
Okay, when we dismiss, we are going to go to our advisories for our sailor shift meetings. Now, I need all of the current Career Center students right now, stand up, go see Mrs. Heffern in the office. She will give you your scheduling sheet. Make sure you get the one for the class you're going to be in next year. If you're going to be a senior next year, get the senior scheduling sheet.
And when you walk in, be sure to tell her you are one of the Career Center students.
She's waiting on you. She has them all lined up and ready. And you will turn them into her by next week.
March 6th.
Everybody else, you will get your scheduling sheet with the color for your grade level when you go to advisory this afternoon. Your teachers also have a hard copy of the scheduling handbook if you want to see it in print. Okay, 8th grade, you are dismissed. Straight to advisory, please. Okay, sophomores, you are dismissed to your advisory for sailor shift. All right, we have 9th grade over here, right? 9th grade, go to sailor shift. Have a good day.
Trevor, is it graduating?
Let's try to trick you.
And then our almost seniors, before you go, again, one more time, if your scheduling for next year is super important. If by any chance you've missed any class, or you failed a class, or because of being in Career Center or band or something, you missed a required course, you need to really scan that carefully and make sure that you've caught up with everything that you need to have. If you're not sure, come and see me or go see Mr. Morris. As you feel, there's a place on the back that says, there's a box that says anything else we need to know to schedule you. You need to make sure you missed a World Cultures class that you write in there, I need World Cultures. We'll make sure that you get it. Fulfill your graduation requirements. Have a great day.